In this video, I'm going to introduce a powerful new concept in Dronelink called functions. Now, within the web app, you can find functions. If you go into a repo, you'll now see this little fx command. However, for most pilots and end users, functions will be visible to you and useful for you on something called on-the-fly functions. On-the-fly functions are predefined functions which enable you to define locations, settings, and even logic from within the native app itself, typically by flying the drone to a specific location or by answering wizard-like questions. Now, while this list is always growing and we welcome input from you as to additional on-the-fly functions that we can create, this list currently includes a 360 photo on the fly function, 360 photos, which allows you to create multiple on the 360 photos on the fly, cardinal photos, which kind of fits in if you're doing things with companies like Dronebase, a droney function, a facade function, a job site function, a map function, which allows you to fly in a grid pattern to create an orthomosaic or perform a search, multiple elements, which actually allows you to combine multiple elements into a single mission plan, the orbit, the path, the photos, a spiral, as well as a trucking shot. Now, I'm going to go through how to use these on-the-fly functions in a separate video, but I wanted to quickly talk about why you'd ever want to use on-the-fly functions in the first place. One of the best uses for on-the-fly functions come when the maps within Dronelink or even Google Earth do not provide the specific detail, often the location detail that you want. So let's go back, let's look at this map. This is for the San Francisco ferry location video that I had done a little while back. But one of the interesting things that if you remember, I was trying to do an orbit around this particular tower. Now, the detail within Dronelink or within the Mapbox map doesn't really show exactly where the center of this tower was. Now, I was able to do this by moving things around, a little bit of guesswork, but if I really want to make sure that I'm right above this tower, I can't really accurately do that within the map interface. In addition, let's say that I wanted to do a vertical ortho of this location, but I want to make sure that I'm right at the corner here and right at the corner here. That's where these on-the-fly functions are great, because I can define exactly where I am in space, and Dronelink will create a mission based upon that location. And again, I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. Very similarly, sometimes if you're flying and you are offline, the use of on-the-fly functions allows you to create a mission on the fly versus needing to go within your web app or obviously having access to a computer to create the mission. A third very valuable use of on-the-fly functions is that it allows for conditional questions or data gathering. Functions can ask conditional questions within the native app, which then modify the created mission. Now, as you know, when you're creating components or you're creating missions in front of your computer, you can program the drone to fly very, very specific things. But this may change based upon the drone that you're flying or the location that you're flying. Using on-the-fly functions, you can ask the user questions and then have the mission modified based upon how they answer. A few other examples. Do you want to take pictures or video? If you're doing a vertical pano, how far do you want to be from the building? You may want to modify that based upon the wind conditions. If you're doing cardinal pictures, maybe you need 4 this time, but going back, you really wanted 8 or even 16. Again, you may have the same base mission, but functions allow you to create a mission from the native app on the fly. The other thing that we're experimenting with on-the-fly functions that's very interesting is the ability to pull information, assuming it's available, from the drone and create a different mission as a result. So if you're flying an Inspire 2 or a Mavic 2 Pro or a Phantom 4 Pro, the drones are different, the lenses might be different, and a different type of mission may be more effective based upon your goal. Functions can detect specific information and modify the mission as needed. Now, fourth, and probably the most complex reason, and this is really more for enterprise customers and those with JavaScript programming knowledge, the concept of functions actually allows you to create your own powerful functions. So I'm going to pull you in. This is actually the on-the-fly function. this is what an on-the-fly function looks like from within Dronelink. And if you're familiar with programming, programmers can now create their own loops, their own if-then statements from within the mission they'd be creating. Now, why would you ever want to do this? Let's look at a 360 component. This is actually just a normal component within Dronelink, but I don't know if you've ever drilled into the detail that goes into a 360 photo. The basic concept of a 360 photo involves flying to a location and then taking 23 images all facing in different directions. You got to move the gimbal or the drone and take a picture. This component has already been created for you and it's available for you. But let's say that you wanted to create a more detailed or a modified version of this 360 photo. For example, maybe you wanted to create a gigapixel pano where you wanted to take more than 23 pictures, maybe hundreds of pictures to stitch together. If you were to do that from within Dronelink, it could take you half hour to hours to define every single one of the locations, directions, and commands that you'd want to issue. Using functions, you can define actual loops or if-then statements to modify things. You could actually create the concept of a gigapixel 360 image in minutes versus hours. Overall, if you are looking to do more with programming your own functions or would like us to create a function for your specific application, we do recommend that you reach out to us directly. So on that, I'm going to show you a few of the on-the-fly functions and how they work from within Dronelink's native app.